Some people view letting a dog sleep in the bed as completely normal, even an indispensable part of their lives. But others shudder at the thought of fur, drool, or little paw prints pressed into the sheets. These two opposing perspectives have turned the question, should you let your dog sleep in your bed, into one of the most contentious topics among pet lovers. Yet if you've ever had a loyal dog, you'll understand that feeling. The way it gently slips under the covers, curls up at your feet, and only when you hear its steady breathing do you truly feel your home. For many people, the bed is not just a place to sleep, but a place to feel the unconditional love of that little creature. What's interesting is that modern science is beginning to show that sleeping with a dog not only brings comfort, but can genuinely benefit both physical and mental health. Between human and dog, there exists an invisible bond, where warmth, breath, and heartbeat merge, creating a sense of peace that's hard to describe. So perhaps we should reconsider. Letting your dog sleep in the bed isn't a careless habit or a mistake. It's a ritual of trust, an emotional gift both of you need. And when you understand the true meaning of that in the dog's world, you'll no longer regard it as something allowed or not allowed. You'll understand that sometimes, simply a little space beside you is enough to make both your heart and the dog's whole. Part 1. The Natural Instinct. Why sleeping together signals safety in a dog's world. If you've ever seen puppies sleeping, you'll notice something odd. No matter how many are in the nest, they always try to touch one another. A back leaning, a paw draped, or simply the warmth of the one beside them. For dogs, sleep is never about separation. It is always a moment of connection, an instinct of survival written in their blood. Since ancient wild ancestors, dogs lived in packs. They slept close to each other to stay warm, to guard one another against danger, and to know they were not alone in the dark. That's why, when domesticated, this instinct doesn't disappear. It only changes its subject. Now you are its pack. When a dog wants to sleep with you, it's not because your bed is softer than its mattress, it's because beside you it feels safe. Your breath, your familiar scent, your movements at night, all of these are signals that calm it. In the dog's world, sleeping side by side is its way of saying without words, I trust you, I belong to you. And this doesn't apply only to dogs. Science has shown that when two beings sleep together in trust, their heartbeats begin to synchronize, their breaths slow, and the hormone oxytocin, known as the bonding hormone, rises noticeably. That means every time you let the dog curl up at your feet, both of you are regulating each other's emotions in the most natural way. You might think it's just a habit, but for your dog, it is a sacred ritual of trust. So next time it softly jumps onto the bed, don't push it down. Let it know you understand. Because for it, sleeping beside you is not just a privilege, it's how it knows it truly has a family. Part 2. When separated. The invisible emotional harm in a dog. For humans, not allowing a dog to sleep together might be a minor rule. But for a dog, it's a whole emotional shock. It doesn't understand the concept of hygiene or personal space. All it knows is, the door is closed and I'm left outside. When you shut your bedroom door, your dog sits there, silently waiting. It doesn't get why the person it loves the most won't let it be near. To it, you are not just the owner, you are the whole world. Many dogs whine, scratch the door, or bark during the night, not because they are misbehaving, but because they miss you. They are simply saying in their way, I'm afraid of losing you. And that fear, if prolonged, can turn into stress, even negative behaviors. Dogs don't need private space. They only need to feel safe. And sometimes, that's simply being allowed to lie next to the person they trust. Part 3. The biological and emotional benefits of sleeping together. When a dog is allowed to sleep beside you, it does not just make it happy, it genuinely benefits both of you. Many studies show that when humans and dogs sleep near each other, their heartbeats and breathing gradually align. Both of you release oxytocin, the hormone of love and bonding. Thanks to the warmth, familiar scent, and steady breathing, the dog feels safer, calmer. And you sleep more deeply, with less anxiety and stress. Many people report that since their dog started sleeping in the bed, they've seen calmer behavior, fewer barks, less restlessness, and more closeness than ever. Because trust isn't built during training sessions, but in silent moments, when both lie beside each other, breathing together, trusting together. Sometimes that is the simplest way to say, we belong to each other. Part 4. Common misunderstandings. Hygiene, allergies, and sleep. Many oppose allowing a dog into the bed because they think it's unclean, can cause allergies, or will disrupt sleep. On the surface, that seems reasonable, but in reality, most of these worries stem from misunderstandings rather than facts. A dog that is bathed regularly, brushed, and health-checked routinely poses almost no risk to humans. According to the Mayo Clinic, 2017, letting a dog sleep in the bed does not make sleep worse. It can even help many people sleep more deeply thanks to the sense of safety and familiar warmth. Human bodies respond to that presence by releasing oxytocin, the hormone of bonding and peace. The heartbeat slows, breathing evens, and the brain receives the signal, "I'm safe." The dog receives the same. Between human and dog, there is an invisible rhythm they both feel as they sleep. And what about allergies? Studies show that children who grow up with pets often have stronger immune systems, fewer allergies. Frequent exposure helps the body train its ability to adapt naturally. Of course, if someone has severe asthma or allergies, simply allowing the dog to lie on a separate blanket or in a designated area of the bed is sufficient. And losing sleep because the dog moves? In reality, most dogs adjust to the owner's routine. They sleep when you sleep, wake when you wake. After the first few excited nights, their rhythm naturally merges with yours. Finally, what allows people to sleep well is not just quiet, but the feeling that someone you trust is lying next to you. A little creature who can't speak, but by its warmth lets you know you're not alone. Part 5. How to sleep together properly. So both are happy. Letting a dog sleep in the bed is not only about emotion, but also requires a bit of finesse so both are comfortable. Because love, however sincere, still needs gentle boundaries to last. First, start with a consistent routine. Dogs live by rhythm. If you always let it onto the bed at the same time, with the same signal, for example, time for bed, it will quickly understand this is the daily ritual. That very consistency helps them feel safe, reduce anxiety, and fall asleep more easily. Next is maintaining hygiene. No need to be overly strict, just wash its paws or wipe fur before bed. Check for ticks/mites seasonally, brush the coat regularly. Many fear the dog smell, but in truth that smell comes only from improper care. A well-groomed dog will smell of sunlight, grass, very pleasant. Third, create a separate space within the same bed. You can place a blanket or pillow for it or designate a fixed area. This helps you sleep more peacefully and lets the dog understand the limit while still feeling close. It knows this is my spot, and that makes them strangely proud. Finally, listen and observe. Many people are surprised when they see changes in the dog after a few weeks of sleeping together. Less stress, fewer barks, more cooperative during training. That's not because you're spoiling it, but because it senses safety. In a dog's world, safety is the foundation of all good behavior. So make sleep a moment of connection. No elaborate ritual needed, just let it know. Here, you are loved. You belong. And you'll see, every morning when you wake up, the first greeting isn't the sun, but warm eyes looking at you with absolute trust. For humans, the bed is just a place to rest. But for a dog, it's the border between being separated and belonging. When you let it sleep beside you, you're not just giving it a place to lie down, you're giving it a sense of being loved, accepted, safe. In every breath, every heartbeat through the night, both are communicating without words. I trust you. I will protect you. That is instinct. That is love. That is the invisible thread that brings two worlds, human and dog, closer than ever. Many think letting a dog sleep in the bed is indulgence or a mistake, but the truth is the opposite. Dogs don't demand much. They just need to feel that in this vast world, they have somewhere to come back to, someone to trust, and a sleep to be fully peaceful. So if one night you see it curled at your feet, don't shoo it away. Let its breath merge with your heartbeat. Let it know, here, you are safe. Because sometimes that simple warmth is exactly what both of you and your dog need most. And if you've ever seen a dog sleeping soundly beside you, face peaceful like a child's, you'll understand that you're not the one giving it permission to sleep with you. It's choosing you as its safest place in the world.